Hello, my friends. I'm still sitting here waiting, so for now I am just gonna keep the queue game going.
My fists have a message for you. What?
Hey, Benji, thank you so much for the resub, man. I really appreciate it. It's very nice of you. I forgot what these are. Alright, it's like a map rush of some kind. Give me a second, I need to fix the window on this. Alright, much better. Whoops. Also, don't really think I need sound on this. Yeah, I'm gonna mute the game. Yeah, you can be quiet. Thank you. Well, whoops. I can do better than that. Okay, so just 3 rush maps. What does the icon mean on some of these maps? What is all this? How did I know about any of this? So it's essentially skins. Huh. Oh my god. Why are you so slippery? Huh. I don't know if there's like a collectible I can get or something. I have no idea what that is. Alright. Let's take a look here.
Select your god.
ADC warm-up game? It's not good. Usually isn't. What do I not want to deal with? Probably Kuzenbo. They also banned it. Damn. I gotta warm up, man. I should have warmed up. Now I have to hit auto attacks? Shit. Time to just pick something easy, I guess. Yeah, it's a good question, Benji. I'm not sure. Especially into Medusa. There isn't really anything good, per se, into Medusa, as far as I know. Yeah, Artemis would be pretty, it wouldn't be bad for sure, but it's also a rough matchup if I fall behind Medusa. She can literally just dash me and I can't do anything about it. Ah. It's also the Tsukuyomi. I'll do Hachiman. I haven't done Hachiman in a while. If she's gonna poke me, I'll poke her right back. Let's do this. Apollo? I was thinking Apollo, but... What the fuck is this? Alright, I need to turn this back on for you guys. You guys don't see this. Is this good for my eyes? Damn it. I think I need to use sprint some way here. Somehow. One way. Oh, wait. Oh. That makes it a lot easier. This motherfucker has a weird dash thing. Okay. Damn, so a lot to this game that I just simply forgot. Yeah, it's pretty straight on the eyes for sure. There's a reason why I wear these glasses. Like, what is... Can I buy something new here? Yeah, floaty. Do they all have different stuff? I guess that's my rip-off. It's a head crab. Joseph, of course. And I need... I think that, like, those have to be collectibles, right? The band-aids. Can I... Wait. Batman. So... Oh, guess I'll check it out some other time. The band-aids have to be some kind of collectible. So there has to be one somewhere in this map. I'll check that out. What do ADCs even build these days? You build everything on ADCs, don't you? They have a somewhat scary front line. I'll go some auto attack focus here. I kind of forgot which starter you usually go for on the heavy auto attack ones. But I guess if you want to go something like crit, you want to do the crit start. Like Gilded Arrow, whatever it's called. Yeah, Gilded Arrow, and then into Ornate Arrow for the extra crit. I always just go Mannequin, man. I love playing Mannequin. It's so fun. I'm addicted to Mannequin. But you can't really do Mannequin and everything. Because Mannequin is kind of shit early. Like on something like Heimdall, it's nice. Or at least that's what I prefer. On Chronos, I like it. Stuff like that. You could probably make it work on most things. I just don't really recommend it on most.
Be careful left. Be careful left. Enemy missing. Enemy missing. Okay. Attack. You can't stand the heat. Get out of my kitchen. Fresh and juicy. I'll gank middle lane. Yatta! On my way.
Help!
Next time, I'm sure.
Okay. Not a bad start.
Attack! Attack! Wow! He must have choked on the meatball. Splendid work. You think you are safe? Splendid work. Out of the trenches!
That sucks. I played that one bad. Didn't get my dash off before Medusa hit me with her too. I just took so much poke for no reason. Didn't expect her to dash as well. But she tried. Just bad on my end.
Enemies in right lane.
I do think Death Toll generally is also the way to go for the most part.
Ultimate is ready. Enemy ultimate down. Going for jungle buff.
An enemy has been slain.
Out of mana. Fret not. On my way. Your left tower is under attack.
Enemy missing left.
Ultimate is down. I'll gank left lane. Be careful. Middle. I'll gank left lane. Help left lane! Help left lane!
Goddamn Bluestone, bro.
Compliments to the chef.
Almost got me too.
Ultimate is ready.
Man, I'm just gonna wait. I need 40 gold.
Wow.
Enemy ultimate down.
Yeah, great gank.
This weapon screams pain.
I should have just ulted before I got pulled. I was just truly hoping I was out of range for the Sylvanas pull. I ended up having to beat it as well as just ult to get out. But ended up being good bait, I guess.
Be careful. Be careful left. Out of the trenches.
Go away, Sylvanas. Goddamn.
Enemy spotted.
These are truly unfortunate circumstances.
The current ADC meta is so weird. Because there is so weird, like. The support sometimes just completely camps the ADC on the opposite side, which is currently what's happening with Sylvanas, just constantly sitting here. And like, I'm glad I picked Hachiman. Let's put it that way. Holy shit.
Help left lane. I'll gank left lane.
Enemy ultimate down.
God damn it, dude.
Not to be happy. An enemy has been slain.
I misplayed that one. I didn't see my dash was still down. I actually went in with the mindset of dashing them. When I pressed it, I was betrayed by my own brain, thinking it was up. Well, now I'm warding Sylvanas. But yeah, this is pretty normal. It's been happening a lot recently, especially in higher reload games. One support's completely just camp the ADC. Literally not doing anything else. And as you can see, so currently that's good for us. Because our support is running around over there doing great stuff.
Truly unfortunate circumstances.
And with the help from Lance, obviously.
I'll gank left lane.
Wow. Compliments to the chef. Ultimate is down.
Thanks.
No problem.
Wait. Be careful left.
Dude. Let me just get one wave. One wave, man. Stop. This isn't fun, Sylvanas. I hate you.
This makes killing so much more enjoyable.
Enemy spotted.
Out of mana.
Spring is here.
Fret not.
We destroy you all.
Your left tower is under attack. Missing. Ultimate is ready. Enemy spotted.
Yeah, solo XP is fine. I don't think he's leeching for Medusa much. Overall. Only a little bit. At least the big thing is that I'm actually surviving the ganks. That's really the big thing here.
Ready.
Enemy missing.
Set up an ambush here. On my way. Wait.
Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted.
Attack!
Well, we don't need to talk about that. I screwed up my ult. I forgot how it moved. I haven't played Hachiman in a while.
You think you can
These
just
are truly
pass away
unfortunate.
like
I completely forgot how the ultimate kind of moves when you want to turn, and I fucked it. I want to shoot back real fast, and I ran into the wall like a smart person.
Okay, so maybe a little salt will hurt someone.
The fight is over, and the battle is ours. The fight is over, and the battle is over. And the battle is ours.
Alright, time to just farm. I think I can deal with Medusa. I just need to not
Done.
do that. Don't ult into the wall. How the fuck does that reach me, man? What the fuck?
An ally has been slain.
Yes.
Your right tower is under attack.
Well done. Well done.
Her ult should be down, at least.
May they be cursed.
Okay.
You just got served. Some delicious pasta, huh?
Gank! Help! Your left tower is under attack.
I hate playing ADCs in my warm-up games, because my decision-making just absolutely suck while my brain is waking up on how to play the game again.
Mamma mia, not again.
Now I'm making some weird and bad decisions. I'm also, to be fair, I'm against a very good ADC here in Ragnar, and I don't play ADC enough at the moment to be on like anywhere near his level. And then he also has Medusa, which doesn't make it a lot easier for me.
Fret not.
Watch these fools. Yatta!
And there's also Sylvanas obviously being a nuisance.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower. Ultimate is ready.
No one is safe from me.
That is unfortunate.
Attack.
I will punish the good.
Talking on the meat.
Retreat.
Help right lane. Help right
This isn't a good fight anymore. Don't chase this. We've just... yeah. Hachiman is too easy to avoid when there is
lane. Help right lane.
Destroy you
You
all.
think you can just pass away like that?
Your right tower is under attack.
Not
Did
even
he attach your spaghetti?
save you from me.
awkward. Awkward as hell.
Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
Our determination. Enemy ultimate down.
On my way.
Enemy ultimate down.
Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
Well, that sucks. Did not expect him here, considering the fight they just had so far away. I actually think I already built the wrong thing. Because I think I had to go Rage first and then into Dom. I screwed that up. You don't actually build Executioner right now.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah, the classic Medusa pick. I'm also playing like shit. I'm really playing this one bad. Like the one death I had against her, or I guess the first one I should say, was incredibly unnecessary because I literally just ulted into the wall. It wasn't good, and it's all on camera.
I'll gank left lane. Set up an ambush here. Ultimate is ready.
An enemy has been slain.
This makes killing so much more enjoyable.
Gank right lane.
On my way. Be careful left.
Left lane!
Wow! That was a rough food fight.
Splendid work.
Gather round.
Your left tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
I'll take the trade. If we pick him up, that's all good. But still, someone's always in my lane. This is certainly an aggressive ADC game with everyone saying hi. Well, I guess not everyone, just the same people a lot.
Good work.
I have 6 deaths already. Sadness.
Retreat.
It's not too different, it's just the Dom at the moment just does a bit more when you're planning on running crit. Because it will just simply...
Out of mana. Out of mana.
It's a bigger percentage hit, I suppose.
Retreat.
Especially when you're running crit.
Be careful.
Your right tower.
Out of mana.
Your left tower has been destroyed. Your structure is under attack.
Be careful, left! Yes. Defend!
On my way. I'll gank left lane. On my way.
No one is safe from me.
On my way. On my way.
Has been slain.
Oh,
These are truly unfortunate.
yes, Cabrakan is indeed missing.
This dish is overcooked.
Yes, he is. Fucking hell, bro. I'm just not gonna initiate. I'm just done initiating completely. Fuck me. Oof. Unfortunate dash.
Okay, stop. Maybe a little salt in that sound.
Alright. Good job. I need some kills. With all those deaths, I'm ranking up.
On my way.
Wow, compliments to the chef.
Okay. Yeah, upgrade Xe. You're thinking the mark damage one? What even is Hashima's passive again? Right. That's what it is. If you're talking about the anti-healing one, because I'm probably gonna need that one. I think I have to go for it. With them having Sylvanas and Tsukuyomi more than likely having... Yeah, I mean, I guess both Tsukuyomi and Medusa has Soul Eater as well, so... Yeah, the anti-healing one is great, yeah. I should probably get that one early.
Attacked by a giant.
In this game, I think I have to just save my ultimate as an escape ability. I just stop using it aggressively. I actually die every single time I've done it. Which is about 7 times now.
What?
An enemy has been slain.
Splendid work.
Attack the fire giants in left lane!
Destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Cool, meatballs. Better than what? Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
I'll be an objective nerd, if that's all I have to do.
I take no issue with it.
Retreat. Your right tower is under attack.
Ally has been slain.
These are truly unfortunate circumstances.
Wow!
Save yourself. Your right tower is under attack.
Embrace the burning shroud. Face the wrath of a sorcerer.
Enemy ultimate down. I will not be happy.
She even ulted for that. Kind of surprising.
Been slain. The fresh meat has been tenderized. Mwah! Compliments.
Yeah, 5-gen might have been a bit of an aggressive call. I don't have enough objective damage to do anything about that just yet.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Joker on the meatball.
I can be useful in a fight, but at this point I'm too far behind. I don't want to let Mr. Rennigan here down with how well he's playing.
Right tower has been destroyed.
I need to just farm. At least let me get a few levels. I'm not going to be able to deal with the front line in my current state.
Set up an ambush here. Okay. Enemies in middle lane. Fret not.
Help!
On my way!
I'm sure. Stay resolute, frame. On my way. Stay resolute, frame. Destroyed a on my way.
I got 2 levels up, that's nice.
Enemy team has destroyed the pyromancer.
Mwah! Compliments to the chef. Double kill. You have slain an enemy. Bravo!
Splendid work.
That was a sortie and joke.
Attack fire giant.
Have
Fret
fun.
not.
Gather round.
Attack the Storm Fury. Help!
Yeah, man. I had to, you know. I had to ult people when there was kill potential, right? If I die, at least someone dies with me. In that sense, as long as I can make sure my ult at least gets a kill.
Splendid work.
But yeah, I mean, there's obviously nothing behind here. I'm getting gigantically carried in this one. I'm not doing anything. But you know what? With the good games I had yesterday, I don't mind being carried in one of my games here, because it's been kind of a while, I feel like, since I got hard carried. Not to make it sound like I'm stroking myself when I say that, but I had some great games yesterday.
On my way. Move up.
And I mean, if I have to lose to someone, I would rather lose to a you know, a renowned, very good ADC like Ragnar. Like, there's not a single doubt in my not a single doubt in my mind that he is much better ADC than
On
me.
my way.
So
Enemies have returned to base. Enemies have returned to base.
Attack left lane.
Yes.
okay, left we go then.
Be careful.
Enemies in middle lane.
Yes. Splendid work. Be careful.
I take no issue with the attack left lane. Enemies in middle lane.
Enemy missing left.
Enemies in middle lane.
Yes. Group up. Attack middle lane. Restrict left lane.
has destroyed us left enemy tower.
Greetings. Be careful. Middle. Attack middle tower. I'll attack right lane. Be careful. Be careful. Middle.
Your team
Please.
I take no issue with right lane.
Yes.
Attack fire giant.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
I'm playing very careful here. I'm really trying just not to die. That's it. I just don't want to die. Let's grab that. Last item, probably Dom still. Yeah.
Please.
Be careful.
I mean, especially against their comp. Kabrakan is going to be hard to kill otherwise. Kabrakan does not have thorns, at least. I'm very happy to see that.
Enemies in middle lane. Inspiring. Cancel I have much to learn from you.
makes killing so much more enjoyable.
Attack by a giant!
Always take care of things myself. We need wards. This weapon screams pain.
I'll grab one sentry. I won't be able to finish Dom, I think. Because this game is either... There's a chance we stalemate, obviously, but generally someone wins a fight. If we win, we're probably just gonna end. If they win, well, then I'll get to finish Dom. But we'll see if I even get to finish Dom this game. Won't be for this fight.
Follow me.
We need wards. Ward, here! Behind us! Behind us!
Retreat! Okay.
On my way. No.
Mamma mia, not again! That was a sortie and ultimate is ready!
Follow me.
We need wards! Ultimate is ready! Time to run.
Attack! Enemy on the
An enemy has been slain.
Splendid work! Attack by the giant! I see the ball!
Ouch.
Two meatballs. Better than one. The chef. No one eats for free. Wow. He must have choken on the meatball.
A massacre. A bit of an awkward start to our fight there. Terra just kind of went in. But she was kind of in a 1v5 as well as Kraken was in mostly a 2v1, I guess. I don't think I could have stayed with Terra. I think I would have just died instead of Terra. If they saw me, they would have just went on me instead.
Save yourself!
But man,
These are
I need to probably... Man, there's too much shit to Aegis, because I want to Aegis Tsukuyomi, obviously, but Medusa's ult does so much damage. And you can't exactly avoid it, unless you're somehow out of range, so... Because holy fuck, man, that shit hurts. Real bad. But I'm also I'm still struggling to even play well this game. My play damage is gonna be like 5k. I haven't done anything.
Attack by a giant! On my way!
I'll be an objective bot if I have to, but... I mean, at this point, it's probably all I am.
behind us. Cancel that. Be right back.
Chase the enemy! On my way! On my way! On my way!
Oh. I hate Medusa. I do.
You think that you're gonna just pass away like that?
My active still being down was real not good there. At least they're baiting it.
Mamma mia, not again! Dear
I don't think they can end. They're not going for the end. I shouldn't have went in. My actives were still down. I keep doing the thing I'm saying I shouldn't be doing. This is a classic, certified.
your middle tower is under attack.
Have fun.
Your middle tower has been destroyed. Your middle tower is under attack. This weapon
Next time, I'm
screams
sure.
pain. Yes.
Enemy team has destroyed the fire giant.
We still have a pretty good defense, so I believe. I'm actually just gonna play like a bitch now. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna stay back. I'm not gonna ult unless I absolutely need to. I'm not gonna ult for damage. Unless they're actually running away. That's the big thing here. If they're actually legitimately running away, and there is actual kill potential with my ult, sure, maybe.
Be careful, be careful.
Otherwise, no.
Your middle tower. No safe from me.
We probably also need some defensive wards.
Gank, your left tower. I will have it all. Your left tower has been destroyed. Gank.
Watchers think you are safe.
An enemy has been slain.
Like this. Why would I not ult here?
Joker on the meat. Attack the Titan. Fresh meat has been tenderized.
Okay, I mean, once again, I didn't do shit. I just want to mention that real quick.
Attack, middle lane, middle lane.
But, I mean, everyone died before I even did anything. This is the problem. If I initiate with them, we all die. If I don't do anything, we win. I think I pretty much won this game for us. As long as I didn't do anything, we won. That was great. By great, I mean not great. That was shit.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy.
That's kind of a really, really bad game for me, this one.
Next time, I'm sure.
Alright. Next. We just erase this box from this. Hey, Blue Knight, what's up, man? Hope the game's going well. Had one game. I can't say it went well for me. We did win, but it was 100% not on me. In any way, shape, or form. Yeah. I did almost the least damage in the whole game. Though, at least to be fair, Morgan didn't do that much damage either. So there's that. But I essentially did Sylvanos level damage. I warded at least, compared to my support who didn't ward a single time. I was the support. There we go. How do you not ward as support? Why do you play the role otherwise? I thought you just want to ward. But yeah. I do want to show. I don't feed every game, alright? Even though it may seem like it sometimes. Alright, you can show my games now, thank you. See, most of my games are good. Like this Cthulhu game yesterday was great. I did a lot of damage in this game. I actually had the most damage in this whole lobby on this Cthulhu game. So this was great. Also, my Medusa game went great yesterday. It's just a lot of my teams didn't do too well in that game. So anyway. Yeah, Renegade is great. He's very good. He's also an ult. Shame. Well, everyone has ults these days. I can't really shame people. My ult is about... Yeah, it's around as well. But yeah, he's very good. Very, very good jungler. Or just player in general. He hangs out in chat sometimes. Oh yeah, I want to check, what the fuck are these band-aids? What's with the band-aids? Are there some kind of secret somewhere? Because, like, this is a very simple map. Why would there be one? Like, how do you get band-aids? Maybe it's because of speed? Do I have to do it in a certain amount of time? Because yeah, I don't think there's secrets in Super Meat Boy. I think it's just about speed running, really. Let me try and see if we can just do it fast. Maybe that works. I can't even die. I need to restart this replay. This isn't going too fast. Is that what does it? Maybe the flag. So 9 seconds. Is that what I have to beat it then? I probably did that before as well then. Did that do it? No. Then I have no idea. Maybe it means that's where I've gotten it. Shit. No, that's not it either. I don't understand. Alright, whatever. I'll keep going instead. No. Not the wheels of death. Oops. Okay. I might have to skip a few levels, because this might be too easy now that I kind of forgotten, or remembered, I should say, how to play the game. Most of it will be probably too easy. I don't know anyone on my team really, outside of Vanity. I recognize Vanity, and I think I've seen Creed somewhere. But, hopefully I'm not against everyone from the last game, because it might be a little uneven, if that's the case. But this could also be baby game, because suddenly I'm top 2, so...
Your god.
Oh, well. It was dodged. So never mind, I guess. Oh. No! Okay, this one's slightly tricky. No! So close. Why? Bullshit. Damn it. I jumped too soon. No, shit. Damn, I'm losing it. I almost did it, and now I just can't. Now I can't do it. It's Jover. Also, what the fuck? Why is she immune to the blades? Some horse shit. She's just standing in them. Alright, boss time. Okay, not too shabby. I do like those where you have to just move fast. It's not super hard to dodge stuff, but the fact that it moves so fast is the potentially tough part. Oh, can I tell where I've gotten the badges or not? Because I just realized it actually says on the map. Yeah, 20 out of 20 bandages. I have 60 on this one. Gotta give him bandages. Evander is an old school player as well. I don't know if he is. I don't, at least not from competitive, from what I know. I just recognize him because he's in ranked a lot. We're usually in the same type of games. Bandage. Hmm. Okay, that's death. I don't see a bandage here. So I'm guessing this is not one of them where the bandages are. Well, looks like I'm back to playing ADC, boys. In the back. Damn it. Why can't I touch the cocaine? Alright. Well, if I'm playing ADC, I feel like I have to ban Medusa because I'm so tired of dealing with this shit. Damn, it is sensitive. I cannot even look at that shit. And I'm dead. Damn it. I keep screwing that jump up. Oh, I can just jump it. Whoops. Well, that makes it easier. Alright, we got some more crumble blocks. Damn it. Okay, I guess that one I might have to go on top of the little pillar to actually make that jump. Yeah. Alright, I need to pick something here. They have a pretty annoying combo already with Chanka and Kokolin. Let's grab Chiron.
Your worst nightmare.
Also, be right back real quick, guys. Just gonna turn up the cam as well. Alright, give me a second. Okay, sorry about that.
Perfect for countless
Do you still go
strikes.
Transcendence, actually? I'm not sure I would. Eh,
Excellent.
I'll do it. I kind of want to be an ability spammer, and it's going to be pretty tough if I don't have Transcendence. Well, it's going to be a little bit harder, I guess. Man, Chiron is a lot of fun. And also, could I get my roll today? That would be great. But I also haven't been getting ADC a lot lately, which I do also enjoy, but it is definitely rusty because I always get solo these days. Oh man, the Gabu Fenrir, oof. Oof, oof, oof. That's not looking good for me, at least. Like, both Cupid and Fenrir are kind of rough for me to deal with. I mean, Chiron is definitely better than Cupid, so that's no secret there, but... Only problem I really have with it is the, shall we say, gigantic, unmissable cripple ultimate. Damn. Good job on Bacchus, doing a lot of damage though. I want it back. Also, why in the world is that Cupid auto so loud? If it hits anything, it's such a loud sound effect. Only one had mana. Yep. I've tried to ping the whale for Vulcan, but unfortunately he wanted to go on the Cupid real bad.
Your right tower.
You are doomed.
Damn it, how much is it? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, what a disastrous gang. Hey, what's up guys? Hey Seagull, Pinda, Hunson. Good to see you guys.
This should inflict lots.
Hope you're having a nice day. I certainly am, kind of. I'm having a good day. But my first game before was kind of disastrous. I did win, but I was carried harder than I've been in a very long time. Because I played like shit. You don't need to rewatch the game, by the way. You don't need to do that.
Like that?
No one needs to do that.
The fresh meat has been tenderized. Wow, compliment. Yeah. Your middle tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack. Wow, compliments to the chef.
Trouble keeping up.
Two meatballs, better than one.
Well, that's not what I wanted to press. That's great. Hopefully Cuba didn't see that. Just wanted to call missing. But he might have definitely seen that, because I think he was waiting for me. Cut it from the VOD. It's alright. I have to own my mistakes and just learn from it. While staring out, sitting in a car, staring out the window while it's raining, thinking about it. Man,
Okay.
it's one thing after another. I got something in my eye.
Enemy missing right. Cancel that. That was a salty anchovy.
I don't know why he's playing so far back. Just did the sheer force of my aura, I guess. Makes sense.
This should inflict lots of pain.
I'll grab a single ward.
Keeping up.
I do think I should be winning this matchup. I just need to make sure that I don't get ganked and fall behind.
Okay, so maybe a little salt did hurt someone.
My vision has no boundaries.
Enemy missing left. Thanks. Your right tower. Yo, don't come back again.
Good job, team, killing the Chunga. The really, really fit Chunga.
You will not succeed.
On my way. Attack. An ally has been slain.
Okay.
Your right tower is under attack.
Yeah, do it like everyone else, pretend you don't make mistakes. I wish I could sometimes, you do? I really do.
Mamma mia, not again.
Bro, it's not going well in mid. I feel like Vulcan is just kind of dying on cooldown. Here's 4-0. Or, no, it's not 4-0. 0-4. Slight difference.
Your middle
Perfect for countless slaying.
enemy spotted.
We do a very, very good
On my way.
late game. If we get to it.
Tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
You think that you're gonna just pass away like that?
Your middle tower
I
is
see
under attack.
everything. Only no Russian to match my power.
Okay, so maybe a little soft did hurt someone.
Rough Kuzenbo game, it seems. He's having a lot of trouble over there.
Your structure is under attack.
Ally has been slain.
Your right tower is under attack.
Wow! He must have choking on the meatball.
Enemy missing left.
Be right back.
The part of me wants to try and fight Cupid more. Only problem with it is that I am... On the off chance that I might screw it up, it's gonna be real bad. Because right now I'm the only lane that stays even at the... actually... we're not that far behind for the most... actually, no, I'd say that we're definitely far behind, but it's mostly on the right side. Right and mid. Like, jungle's doing alright, support's obviously doing support things. So he should be alright.
Incoming.
Let's
grab this.
should inflict lots of pain.
Has destroyed the pyramid.
Enemy missing left.
Okay.
Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
Um, and now I'm dying for their greediness.
Will prevail.
It was my own greed as well, but still. I wouldn't have done it at all. I would have just taken the shield and then backed for my stuff. Now, I went trans first, so this is kind of a bit... This is a bit weird now. This man's dead. I guess Failout isn't that good on Chiron anyway. Like, it's fine if you're close to them, but sometimes you just use it for the snipes anyway. So, I guess I'll do Crusher.
Countless slaying.
And just farm. I'll keep doing what I've been doing. Farm.
Retreat right lane.
Farm for the late game.
Retreat right lane.
Ward the fire giant.
Attack left lane.
An enemy has been slain.
Okay. A wild Gapu has appeared.
My vision.
Ow. I actually didn't even think that was Chunga. I don't know why I didn't. But I legitimately thought that was Cupid he caught. I thought Chunga was out of there. But never mind. Ow. Ow. It hurt. Can't wait till she two-shots me. Late game. It's gonna be great. She does have Blink, so it's gonna happen. The stun actually got me. I would have ulted.
Some delicious pasta, huh? Okay.
I guess at least I didn't use anything. Small positives. Vulcan needs to stop missing his things on a stun target. I can't believe he meatballed before the stun came in. Good job, turret. Good shit, turret. MVP right there.
Pasta away like that?
Trouble keeping up.
I gotta get 20 and I need enough gold to finish my starter here.
Has been slain.
Might as well rotate. Grab some kills, you know.
Compliments to the chef.
I can't tell if they're on fire or not. But probably not. Like, I know you see the ring, but I don't know if it has like a range, but I guess they aren't.
I see everything.
ambush here.
Yes. Enemies at the fire giant. Attack left lane. Be careful right.
We can't stop it, I believe.
Save yourself. I'll attack left lane.
If we can just not die too much here, we might be able to get a Phoenix if they can bait enough. My Aegis did not want to go off. I pressed that shit 3 times. That was really annoying. I do not know why that didn't want to go off.
Perfect for countless slaying.
I'll take a last. Let's get some wards as well. Yeah, didn't want the ult. I assume you mean the Cupid ult? I probably could have done that, yeah. Yeah, my Chiron is definitely rusty. I kind of forget about the cleanse still at times. If I panic, it's not muscle memory. I think that's the better way of putting it. When I think about like predicting about it, I will use it in specific situations. Like a Fenrir, I'm kind of expecting it. But on Cupid ult, I honestly haven't thought about it much. But you're right. I should.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Not succeed.
Unfortunate. I should have just landed another shot and Chang'e would have been dead. But how suddenly Cupid was behind me was also just unfortunate. They might have had wards, but that sucks. Also, Vulcan, get the fuck back. They do have fire. We're just running around like they don't. Is because it's mean? I mean, he's had a rough game. He's definitely tilted. This guy was like ganged by the mid laner between 3 and 5 times. I completely understand his tilt. As a fellow solo, I get it. But still, yeah. Obviously, it doesn't excuse being mean, but I don't feel like he was being unrealistic. It was just stupid for us being up there. We shouldn't have been there. Bacchus was greedy, I guess, and went for a kill on Chang'e, and I tried to help him out because if I landed just two of my shots, Chang'e would have been dead. Assuming her 2 was down.
My vision has no boundaries.
Where are they? What are they up to?
Ultimate is ready. Cancel that. Defend.
Retreat middle lane.
Defend.
Enemies in left lane. Middle lane.
Rush into battle.
Your left tower has been destroyed.
That's why I didn't want to defend. Towers don't do any damage. Defending towers is just silly.
Inflict lots of pain.
They're bad defenders. Towers are shit.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Yep. As I expected.
Double kill. That was
Oh, Changa did die, I see. Then I would say it was somewhat worth it at the time, but with I guess both me and Bacchus died for it, so it wasn't really. But yeah. This game is over. We just don't have any team play. Like, our mid is 110. It ain't happening, man. Mid and jungle just got way out of control. Like 17-5 and 11-4. And then I have to deal with a blank Changa going into team fighting. Nah. It ain't happening, Chief. Chiron is fun, though. I do want to play more Chiron, but that was just an awkward game to play Chiron. I could have played better as well. It's not like I played super well or anything on this Chiron, but could have been worse as well. But could definitely have been better. Yeah, sometimes a Fed ADC can outlate game a Fed mid or jungle, but it's equal. Yes, normally, yes. But if I know that their mid is a Changa, or like Changa and Hebo kind of work a bit different, they essentially play like assassins. They will blink your ass and one-shot you. And I can't do anything about that as a Chiron. I have to somehow magically survive if I maybe ult and then get a kill as well. Something like that. Maybe I get an insane prediction and I fucking ages the whole thing, whatever. Something like that. I'm relying on something happening that shouldn't happen, essentially, right? I'm relying on outplaying. Maybe there's a better way of putting it. It's all in Chanka's hands, and if someone can maybe zone her away, something like that. Because as long as she's able to blink, I can't walk up. And right there, I tried to make something happen or poke before they really got in with my ult, but yeah. It's pretty much about like somehow responding before she goes in. And since I was mid ult there, I couldn't do anything about it. I just died. I tried to cancel my ult real quick and then ages, but it just takes so long to get out of the ult. But at least I can maybe actually play my role this time. So that would be great. Seems like there might be a Coquelin main in the mix here, though, which means I might be banning Coquelin, because I ain't dealing with that shit. Actually, maybe I will. If they pick Coquelin, I actually have a response to that. Maybe I'll let it go through. Yeah. I'll let it go through. I might ban the Changa instead. Alright. Sure, Gabu. I'll ban the Neja for you. Why? Someone dodged. Finally, I have a team. Whatever. I like the team I had. Shit. Alright. Yeah, the rank gods are against me today. They hate me. Alright, I did this one. I'm looking for bandages. Because apparently I need bandages. Bandage? Where are you at? I'm not seeing any bandages. Still no bandage. There should be bandages in this map somewhere, because I'm actually, does this fuck, I don't even know. Does it mean there is a bandage, or does it mean I gotten the bandages from that map? Fuck. What does it mean? Actually, maybe it means, is it timed? Oh shit. Is it a time thing? Was that a bandage? Did I get a bandage? I did not get a bandage. Or did I? Yeah, it's not a time thing. Shit. Fuck it. I'm Googling it. I need bandages. I just forgot how they work. Okay, so you have to find them on the map, it seems. It is a collectible on the map. Good to know. And they're hidden as shit, I guess? Huh. Okay. So sometimes the bandages are pretty hidden. Suppose I'll look around then. Time to explore. Nope, that's death.
Pick your god.
Okay. Last pick. Look at this. Perfection. Last pick and solo. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Maybe the rank gods aren't so bad after all. What is this, Jagger or something? Don't know who else who really plays Kokulkan. Is that the Gabo Cupid? Hmm. Maybe this is the game. Where I pick my pick. I just need to know what I'm against. Then I might try what I've wanted to try for a while. I don't know what I'm against.
Your God.
That makes it tough. It could be a Heimdall. But I'm kind of suspecting a Cupid or Heimdall jungle. And I still don't know what I end up being against. So for safety reasons, I am not gonna do what I wanted to do. Which is big sad, to be real with you. I'll do Chuck instead. I'll be boring. Though to be fair, I also feel like playing Chuck. This confuses my eyes. Usually I'm the only one here. Damn it. Alright. Yeah, so I still need bandages somewhere. Somewhere. Oh, and the later levels I definitely don't have that many bandages. I'm guessing it was too difficult for me at the time. Might be able to do it now, I guess. Yeah, Gapple and Creed again. I don't remember if Santiago was in the last game. Okay. I was about to say, I feel like someone crashed. And it might have been me. But it is Mr. Gabo. What is this? Cthulhu? Okay. Yeah, I don't recognize the name, so I do not know what to expect from this player. The funny part is, I have obviously been playing a little bit on my own as well, but not on my main. I'm usually just doing on my ult in my own time, and it's been on a pretty big winning streak. If that keeps up, it's gonna overtake my main pretty quickly, which is gonna be weird.
Run if you can.
Damn it, dude. One more second and he would have been dead instead. My axe didn't land. Fuck, man. I don't fucking believe it. And where the hell was my jungle that whole time? Oh, never mind. He died. How? Where? Actually, no, he didn't die.
There is no escape. Thanks.
No problem. Okay.
Your middle tower is under attack.
He didn't die, actually, because Cupid got the kill on him. So...
Passed away like that? Run! Run if you can. There is no escape.
Man, that sucks.
You're not again. Run if you can.
Especially in a matchup where I definitely should be winning. And I was winning. How is he healing so much, Chalice? Eh.
There is no escape. I feel no pain.
Be right back.
I will build, what is that thing? This thing. Segment.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
It's gonna help a bit more.
Enemy missing.
Okay. Okay, so
Run! Run!
the enemy has been slain.
At least I caught back up to him now, by him losing his blue buff. That sucks. Didn't have my shit up in time.
Enemy ultimate down!
Enemy spotted.
There is no run! Run, you can.
Spreading happiness.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Blood will flow.
Very strange game so far. Very, very aggressive in solo. A lot of people running around in solo in this one,
Be careful.
which I don't like, by the way.
Run, you can.
Actually, I mean, going into mid game, I'll be okay with it. I do want to fight as Chuck 100%, but right now I just want to farm, I guess.
Run! Run, you can.
Good pickup. Fucking Gabu and Creed playing the ultimate cringe game right now by double rotating with the Giannis bullshit every single time. God damn. Just you wait until I'm tanky enough. Just you wait, Gabu. I will have my revenge. Unfortunate. Of course he steals it. Why wouldn't he? This is actual babysitting. And I do want to remind you guys, Cupid is the one babysitting. The baby is babysitting.
Falling back. Need healing.
Damn it. No one-shot buff for me, I guess. I'll just grab what I can.
Run if you can. There is no escape. I walk in darkness.
Ward's Soul Fury.
Run if you can. Enemy missing right. I walk in darkness. Cancel. Run if you can.
Enemy ultimate down.
It's building very aggressively so far. Curse Weaver first item is such a weird choice. Because you don't have a whole lot of like HP just yet. Or like your opponents.
Ally has been slain. Okay. Enemies incoming middle. Run if you can.
Enemy ultimate down.
Scrap. Good award. Like he probably did the jungle camp. The shaman camp or whatever. I would imagine.
Your team
No.
destroyed.
I don't know what he did then.
Your right tower is under attack. Enemies incoming left. Mwah! Compliments to the chef. Run if you can.
I'll just see if I can get the tower for it. That's good enough for us.
Your team has destroyed a right. Waste of time. Run if you can. There is no escape.
weird, awkward fight again. I don't know why we took that fight in the first place.
Ooh, just
I don't believe you can. Damn, you can actually negate thorns with. Huh. Okay. Weird. So you can. So I'm just thinking out loud here. So you can negate thorns with a Janus portal. That's cheating, man. That's actually kind of cheating. My cooldown is so delayed with this build. I shouldn't have went for segment. He's got 3 levels on me after all this. Fucking hell. I was only 1 level behind. I'm not even getting assists either. Not even getting assists. Can out-secure a Cthulhu. He's farming player damage, I swear. He's poking someone who's gonna heal it all back.
enemy spotted. Be careful. On my way. In the end. Ooh, just
I don't want to be here. I'm going home.
An enemy has been slain.
hack the fire giant.
I just don't feel tanky with this build. Okay. I wanted to go for a different type of build. Normally I have a very specific chalk build in mind that I went for the last few days, which works great. But I wanted to try something a bit more, I guess, aggressive, but I don't like it.
Enemy spotted.
Should have just used what I know worked. Alright. This is gonna feel slightly better once I have regrowth. But fully it's gonna feel the best once I finish the actual build. Because Pridwen is gonna be last, which it honestly shouldn't have been. Normally I go for it third,
The left lane.
so we can have cooldown in time. But
There is no escape. Enemy missing right. Be careful. There is no escape. Run. Run if you can.
Retreat.
gonna try to get there in time, but we're so deep. We're real deep.
An enemy has been slain.
In my spirit.
Run if you can.
Be right back.
Mwah! Compliment.
Attack left tower. Attack left tower. Hack the left phoenix.
Waste of time. There is no escape.
No, he's... Damn it. I gotta secure with just one of my abilities instead of trying to double secure. Because he can time the window well enough in between my two abilities to try and secure, which has worked for him every single time.
All in a day's work for this crafty vixen. The fire giant. Enemies in left lane.
Man, Chuck's 1 is still an ability you can't place inside walls. It's so awkward. Just fix it on every ability, please.
Attack right tower. Defend left lane.
I feel no pain.
Retreat middle lane. Move up.
Retreat from the jungle.
Middle lane.
Attack right lane.
Move up.
There is no escape. Run, you can.
Behind us.
That was a sortie and joke.
Run. Run.
I just want 20, so I can finish my damn starter.
Meatballs is better than one. Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
I don't even need to be there. Whatever. I'm just gonna push left and get farm.
Let's celebrate. Where's the vino?
There is no escape. Run if you can.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
Attack the middle phoenix.
I'm on it.
Be careful. Enemies have returned.
Destroyed a right enemy.
There is no run. Run if you can.
Brilliantly executed. Retreat.
There is no
Save
escape.
yourself.
Your team has destroyed.
An enemy has been slain.
Night falls. Run if you can.
That was a sortie and joke.
Run, fools. I need a little bit more gold so I can finish both my starter as well as buying Pridwen. I need it. I hate this build that I went. You're getting cooldown way too late. Especially for a god like Chuck who kind of needs cooldown to be really good. I don't like it.
Alas, capers sometimes go awry.
Run if you can. I walk in darkness.
Yeah, no Phoenix Shield. I went for a different build this time. I wanted to test something, but I don't like it. To put it lightly, I hate this build. I do not like it. I'm not doing it ever again.
On my way.
Don't worry. I wanted to try something. Also, is Phoenix Shield even worth it on Chuck? I don't think I've done specifically Phoenix Shield, but if you start against a physical, I guess I see it, but...
There is no run. Run if you can.
At least now I've reached a point where the build is at least fine. Now that I finally have some cooldown. That I should have had about 5 years ago. Not that I really got to use it. This one, I got carried. Good job, team. Today is weird. I don't like today. I don't get to play the game very much today. Yeah, I definitely don't think Phoenix is bad on Chuck. I just don't think I have seen it be better than so many other things, I guess. Yeah, who carried this one? Zebras played super well. Good old 16k Chuck. At least I did more than most of their team, but... Yeah, support... I mean, honestly, I feel like it was a team effort from my team, except for me. Because I wasn't there. I was always defending right or defending the left Phoenix when Heimdall was split pushing. It was just... I just wasn't there. And when I was, like, it was fine. Like, Chuck will always be somewhat useful if you get a good ult off. Pretty much every fight I was in, I'm pretty sure someone beats my ult. Though I think it was always Heimdall, pretty much, or Cupid. But, I don't have a fixation on wanting to be useful, but I just want to do something. Something more than what I did in that game. Oof. The famous Gamehunter myth. Great. We all love that one. Hazer sniped you. I can't believe it. Actually, no, it's good. Because me and Hazer are never on the same team. It happens so rarely. It's just good.
Pick your god.
He needs to snipe me some more. I also need to snipe other people more, I think. To try and get in the good queues. The Heim has a 67% win rate. That might be better than me right now. My win-loss is pretty much 50-50, I think. Damn, I just spent Arthur out of pure instinct. I'm playing mid. We're against the Lobby Crasher? Oof. Is it time to dodge the game then? Are you certain? Yeah? Okay. Oh, he's in your team? Shit. I hate dodging because I'm gonna get deserter. That's my only issue with it. If I wasn't streaming, it wouldn't be a problem, but I can't just sit and do nothing for 20 minutes. So I hope someone else does. Is it just lobby crashing? Do we know if it's other things as well? You'll take the bullet? Okay. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Alright, but that does mean... Damn, you were called a bitch for it. Alright, we're skipping the queue. Short queue anyway. Skipping the queue. We'll do the queue game while waiting. Unfortunate. It's been pretty hacker slash lobby crashing free the last few streams. It's been very nice. This is the first one in a while. Not actually, no, not entirely true. There was one hacker yesterday. But outside of that, oh shit. Well, I didn't fucking make this. Restart. Well, that's not how you do it. Damn, I'm looking for secrets, by the way. I need bandages, to be specific. I might also not look for them, because they might be difficult as shit to find. I do not remember. And I forgot to jump at the right time. These types of maps are kind of boring. Don't want to just stand around doing nothing. Oh shit. Well, I had to bite my words real fast, didn't I? Jesus Christ. It comes up so fast. Alright. Pretty short. Well, that was definitely stressful. Motherfucker. Okay, that thing just leaves when you get there. Shit, man. Are you coming back, or... Okay, it is. Oh. Let me just check up on the queue. Fuck. Yeah, Super Meat Boy emote. That's just the Twitch emote, isn't it? Oh shit, I did not mean... I didn't even mean to do that. I jumped too far. Turned out it was perfect. Just show me the timer, Q. I can't believe this is still a problem. Just show me the timer. I need to know. But it usually glitches out after it's reset, so I'm pretty sure it's reset. Fuck you, game. Do it. Yes, good. Happy. Happy for you. I'll kill myself, don't worry. If the game doesn't, I'll make sure it happens. It's just like playing Smite. If the game doesn't fuck me, I'll do it myself. Okay. Can't even be in the ledge. I hate these lava maps. So many of them just want to just fucking stand around and do nothing. Oh. That was a whoops. Just show me the queue. It doesn't even matter to you guys because you can't see it. But I can just see a big fat 0 and it says nothing. I don't know how long I have. Whatever. That was close. I'm my own enemy on those types of maps. Fuck. Okay, breathe. I almost jumped way too far again. Damn it. This game is tilting as fuck. It kind of is for some people, I guess. To me, it's kind of relaxing. It's not, well, relaxing is definitely the wrong word to use, but it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm almost meditating when I play it because I'm so focused on something. If that makes sense. Oh, shit. That's gonna be a shitty jump. Because I'm so focused on just this that the queue time just goes so fast. Like, I'm not thinking, damn it. I'm not thinking about the queue at all when I play this because I'm so focused on the task in front of me. Lava Crash is waiting for me. Could be. I mean, if it's in the same game again, then it's getting pretty late. Like, I could just end it as well, so. I would usually stop around this time anyway. Did I even queue? I think I did queue. Let me make sure. Oh shit. There we go. Do this jump. Oh. There we go. My hands are getting sweaty now. Jesus. Alright, this. Yeah, okay. Okay. Wait. Wait. Great. Okay. Key acquired. Oh, damn it. Shit. Well, I screwed that one up. Damn it. One day. One day I'll get there. This portal is very sensitive. Like, really sensitive. Sometimes I plop right back out. When I don't want to plop back out. Okay. Also, let me make sure I can stretch this to my screen. Why can't I stretch this? I guess I can. No, that would look stupid. Some games just don't want to match the screen very well, unfortunately. Because I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't do it myself on the game. Problem with having some wider screens these days. Okay, perfect. That worked out just fine. Whoops. There we go. Playing with portals. No. I screwed up. Damn it. I can do this. Okay, great. There we go. There we go. Oh, we got lasers. Damn it. Almost got it. Okay. Great. Whoops. Alright, stand still, Mr. Key. Damn it. I need to wait. Man. That one is a real asshole, huh? It insta-gives me. I guess I need to wait a little bit more and then do the jump while it's still blocked. Damn it. Okay. I think I need to... Do I need to wall jump it, maybe? Yeah. Um... Right. These things. Definitely missed these. Oof. Damn. Okay, maybe I give it a second. Do I? Whoops. Hmm. I think I do need to see if I could get to the... Damn it. Maybe I can't actually do that. Okay, there we go. Just gotta let it hit the wall real fast. No. Damn. Alright. Yeah, that doesn't work anyway. I wanted to try it anyway. Do that. Run. Damn it. Weird flying mouths. Being annoying. Damn it. I can't do the same thing. I stopped like an idiot. I can make this. No problem. There we go. Probably shouldn't be sprinting in that one. Alright, that's kind of asshole timing to be fair, game. Okay, don't move in that. And wait for that. Just don't move. Okay, so it's not hitting me here at least. Damn it. Dodge next one as well. Thing is, at this point I have dodged 2 Qs. And I do not know who the potential win trader, or I guess I should lobby crasher, might be. So I am now in a game. And I'm hoping that no one is a bad board person in those games, or in this game. Damn it. I hate these flying mouths. Shit. I'm already in the game, so hopefully that won't affect me. I can just check real quick. Yeah, I think I'm fine. My queue is fine. I'm in a game now. Also, I'm waiting for nothing here. Do I just smork this? Yeah, okay, I can do that. Don't kill me. Oh, shit. Okay. And this is more than likely my last game anyway, so.
Return to my former glory,
There is no need
and
for
I'll
such
do it
violence.
by stepping on the likes of gods like you.
Who is speaking? Is that Ares? Not the voice I would have expected coming out of that. Also, what is their comp? Who's jungle? It's like a Yorm jungle.
Your claim to my lands is now.
Or you had it shooting, he crashed the game as soon as it started? Damn. As soon as it started, huh? I guess that's better than when they're about to lose. Then you at least know that you don't want to be in that game real fast. Rather than just wasting our time even more. Alright. Let's see how this goes. I am currently running with an experimental build. So if you're wondering why I have Sigil, that's why. This is not a build I have really done before. It's a build I have thought about. That I wanted to try specifically on Vamana. So let's see. Okay.
If you can't stand the heat, get out of my kitchen! Turn middle. An ally has been slain.
Release your negative energy.
Enemy missing middle. Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack.
Release your negative energy.
You're not again.
Please excuse me.
Enemies incoming right. Missing.
Please excuse me.
Enemies behind us.
Your middle tower is under attack. Group up.
Enemies in the left jungle. Defend.
There's only really one big problem with this build, I would say. And that is the lack of MP5. Or MP, I should say.
Okay.
It's kind of rough when
Please excuse me.
I don't have any mana. Though, it's kind of the same with Axe. Axe suffers from the same problem.
Completed. Enemies in middle lane. Enemies incoming left. Your right tower is under attack. Enemies incoming left. Enemies incoming left.
Release your enlightened.
I went for it.
Ultimate down.
Silence. Return to base.
I had to.
Actually, This will
Also,
be
I'm building the wrong
revolution.
thing 100% against the gap, so I'm fully aware that I'm building protection against physical. So, I'll just have to... I'm the next target? Okay.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Why, though? So anyway, next up, Kosari.
Please excuse me.
Enemies in middle lane. Ultimate is ready.
Is Gep that good at solo? Not really. Gep is a very niche solo. He's not good. Gep struggles in the brawling department. He can clear a wave just fine, but after that he can't do anything. A lot of Guardians suffer from that exact problem going into solo. Because they can clear waves just fine. Ares can as well, for the most part. But you can't fight very well after using your abilities, because you have such long cooldowns. A lot of Guardians just have really, really long cooldowns.
Your middle tower is under attack.
One is so mana hungry, it's insane. I'll take the poke.
An enemy has been slain.
He's also currently building full damage. That's something I definitely don't recommend. Is he gonna be full scary late game? Yes. But right now he's a snack.
Please excuse me.
An actual snack.
Okay, so maybe a little something on someone.
Your left tower is under attack.
Ultimate is down. Attack!
Brother. Good job, Hunbutts. Thank you for taking my my thing. He just came and yoinked my low HP tower rock. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you work for that, huh? No. Oh, whatever.
Ultimate is down.
Rest now.
I got one of my tower rocks, I guess. Yay.
Your left tower.
Wow! It's the joker on the meatball.
I do find it ironic that the one game where I'm not going building Acts of Animosity,
There is no need.
they have 3 tanks. And Acts of Animosity is incredibly good against that. Because it does percentage damage, obviously, so...
Chilling performance.
Careful middle.
A chilling performance.
Please excuse me.
Compliments to the chef.
Your middle tower. Your right tower is under attack.
How are we losing in mid though? Because that's a your mid.
Your right tower is under attack.
Ah, hunt butts.
Yes, 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 yes.
Release your negative energy. Show us what our eyes can
That sucks.
Sorry. Ultimate is ready. That's too bad.
We're still getting something here, so it's not horrible, but
A chilling performance.
Enemies incoming middle.
Beg for mercy.
we have
Ultimate is down.
Ares hunt butts, bro.
Ultimate is ready. Your left tower is under attack.
How are things not going better around mid with those?
Think you can adjust them? Pasta away like that?
Please excuse me.
Great battle.
Just a surface wound.
Let me get.
Release your
There we go.
negative energy.
I see me the ball.
Thank God she went back, I guess.
Your left tower has been destroyed.
Hello.
Looks like Artemis have resorted to trolling, from what I can tell. Artemis is no longer defending left, and is running around doing people's buffs.
Good game.
This is what happens when you skip the queue, boys. This is the other queue.
Release your negative energy.
Your structure is under attack. Your team has destroyed your right enemy ultimate down.
Please excuse
Enemies
me.
behind us. Be careful, right.
Seek truth. Retreat.
Your middle tower has been destroyed.
It's not a good fight. We constantly have someone just dying. And But's taking my waves again, for some reason. You don't have to be here, Buts. And Buts, you have ult.
Please excuse me. Release your negative energy.
It's a full damage gap. Please, you can ult him much earlier.
Attack left lane. A chilling performance.
Retreat!
Like, eventually if the fetch Blanque is gonna be a problem for me, more than likely. But,
Please excuse suffering.
A blessing.
if the walls weren't so fat, I would have blinked. Why?
Take right lane. Has destroyed the pyramid.
Actually, yeah, full damage game against Artemis is not gonna be fun if Artemis decides to actually play the game.
Enemy missing left. Enemy missing left.
On my way.
Mamma mia, not again.
Please excuse me.
Silence.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Sherblog is level 19. We ain't dealing with that just yet.
Okay, some. Maybe a little something hurt some.
Keep your wits about.
We aren't killing him.
I need to meditate. Release your negative energy. Please excuse me. Be right back. Need healing.
Damn it, I actually forgot to save. Shit, I forgot to save my build. I forgot what I'm building next. Shit, what am I building next? Bro, I forgot. I forgot my own build. Well, either way, Spirit Rope is good here, but I completely forgot my build. Good job, me. I'm an idiot.
Ally has been slain. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower. An enemy has been slain. Retreat!
Beg for mercy.
Show us what our eyes cannot see. Enemy spotted.
Enemies behind us.
incoming.
Retreat! Mamma mia, not again! Beat my place!
I cannot take too many of his hits at the moment. I just gotta keep him away until I actually get tanky enough. Shubank is so fat.
There is no need for material things.
The reason why I'm not playing on the thing is, I would never want to use my my old account on stream. It is meant to be hidden.
Keep your wits about.
Nice ult.
Don't come back again!
Please excuse me.
Silence.
Attack fire giant. Attack. Please excuse me. Release your negative energy.
is cold. They should see
I
me
am
now.
so
No, my blue buff. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of my build somewhere. Give me a second. Where is it? Okay.
Ultimate is ready. Ultimate is ready.
Good luck.
please excuse me.
Dude, the constant fighting is rough. Like, I'm really trying to get 20 at the moment.
Mamma mia, not again. Out of mana.
I'm definitely going chains last. Because I need some damage against this
An ally.
insanely tanky team they have.
Seek truth. Release your negative excuse me.
It is not your time.
Retreat. Your middle phoenix has been destroyed.
I need 20. I need to finish my startup before I do anything else. Unbelievable how good acts of animosity would have been in this game, though.
Enemy missing.
Yeah, the lit game is kind of crazy, I agree.
Retreat.
Right lane.
Ultimate is ready.
Please excuse me. Be careful. I already have all that I need.
Your structure is under attack. Mamma mia, not again.
I was kind of dumb of Ares to go in. And we just used everything. Alright, once I have chains online, we're good.
Release
Hey, you wanna fight? Hmm?
Release your negative energy. I am enlightened.
That was way too close.
No one saves us but ourselves.
I should have died. That man could have autoed me once and I would be dead.
An enemy has been slain.
That is too bad.
How much is it? 1050. Still surprising I haven't died yet, to be honest. Question is, Gib still full damage? No. He's not. Now his build makes a bit more sense. Jesus Christ. Yeah. I didn't get my ult off in time. Protect Artemis. Oh, too many. That was just me and bots getting caught, to be honest. Giannis getting some easy picks. That's good. Giannis taking a lot of damage. Goddamn. Is this a full damage Yorm as well? Yes. I could kill Yorm very easily if his ult is down. I can just run him down, actually. I also really need to finish Thorns when I can.
The little things please me.
I need that up as much as I possibly can. God damn it, man. Shibboleth got the no. Kip got the shutdown kill on me. With 110 shockwave damage. Looking at Shibboleth is like... Bro. Okay, he's down there. Artemis should have him.
Please excuse me. Enemy
God damn it. Someone always comes and ruins it for me.
Please excuse me. Need healing.
An enemy has been slain.
Show us what our eyes cannot see. Release your negative energy.
Keep your wits about you.
I need to meditate.
No, I'm sad. No cheap viewers. I only want the expensive ones.
Please excuse me. I am enlightened.
I feel like I arrive, I lose too much HP, I go home. I arrive, I lose too much HP, I go back home. Rinse and repeat.
Save yourself.
At this point, I might even sell Kusari and just get Midgardian. It's gonna suck losing the attack speed, but I'm not really afraid of their magic damage. Not really. Not much, at least.
Gank middle lane. Release your negative seek truth.
Is ready. Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
Attack the minions! Attack the left Phoenix!
I feel like I'm not really doing much in these team fights. Like, people just kind of die and that's it. I'm bait for a little while and that's about it. Weird fucking game. Really weird fucking game. I'll probably hand over a quick report to the Ares for just non-stop trash talking everyone but himself. Alright, today has definitely been one of the weirdest, if not the weirdest ranked game or ranked stream I've ever really had since I came back. Like, super weird. Just kind of weird and obnoxious. Artemis was tilted. I don't know if Artemis was generally kind of on the blame everyone else but myself type of mindset, but Artemis was definitely blaming people for a decent amount. But Artemis was under a lot of pressure, so I understand the tilt, but Ares just kept going with it. In conclusion, though, I felt like this test meant nothing. Number 1, I forgot my build. Number 2, I was against a Gep. Not a good test, to be honest. Overall, I think the build's fine. But this was a bit of an awkward test for me to run the build. Not to mention, Axe would, no matter what here, would have been just better against their team comp. And Mossad is better, right? For the most part, yes. I think it is consistently better, on especially on Vamana. The whole thought process behind this build is to try and make him a bit more useful in team fighting. Because Vamana just kind of dies in team fights. It was hard to test here because Xbalanque literally was so fed that he had 4 levels on me even though I hadn't even died. I was like, what, 3-0 in solo, and Xbalanque had 4 levels on me with crit. This was not a game to test any build, really, because it's just straight up an unfair situation. So I'm not really sure how tanky I would normally be with this build, because I'm not supposed to die with this build. Like, I'm literally going 3 protection items on Vamana first thing. So it's hard to say, but the whole point of this build is kind of like when you play Cthulhu, right? You just run people down, and you're not dying fast enough for the enemy team to kill you faster than your team hopefully kills whatever's in front of them. That's kind of the mindset behind this build. Which is why I want to go Infused Sigil and not the tanky Sigil. Because this is the Thorns Infused Sigil build. Try and just kill everyone by getting hit, right? It is the I will one-shot you while you are in front of me. Even if I die for it, it's worth it type of build. But yeah, as mentioned, it was just a bad game to try this. Because, yeah, it was awkward. Last item is a filler. I will probably want Spirit Robe. Like, these 2 items are kind of fillery. It depends on what I need. Like, Midgardian I could have done instead of Spirit Robe or even Chintz, but I needed the damage in this game specifically because they had 3 tanks. Because otherwise, I could also just go full tank. Normally, maybe I wouldn't even go Chintz. Maybe I would simply just go for literally full damage, because I have to go Hastened. It's going to be really awkward without it. Meaning I am already one tank damage or item down. So Chintz is a bit of a 50-50 up in the air. I will, as mentioned, probably want Spirit Robe for the most part. I have oddly enough thought about even going for something like Pridwen. Not because I wouldn't recommend it, but Pridwen allows me to be useful even after the ultimate ends. Whereas normally you just get the fuck out once your ult finishes, right? I would like to see if I can make Vamana useful outside of just the ultimate. I'm still thinking. One day, Vamana will be good again. Alright. I will end it here today, though. Today's just been really weird. So, and it is getting late. I've had fun despite the weirdness today, but today has been very strange. But despite it, at least I got some more wins than losses through it all. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching as always. I really fucking appreciate it. And, I'll see you guys tomorrow, I think. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.